If everybody in the world was you, how long would it be before there was a murder? This is an excellent question. It can tell you so much about the person you're talking to, and probably reveals quite a bit about yourself to them too. It's my go-to question whenever I'm stopped by the police, I'm on a first date with someone, or when I'm in a job interview and I'm asked if I have any questions. It is a ruthlessly effective way of weeding out those who are worth talking to from those who aren't. Now, the worst answers to this question are things like, never because I'm not a murderer, and Jesus Christ, Denton, why are you thinking that? The best? Well, that's the beauty of it. This conversation can go off in many exciting directions. The debate could be about what sort of murder could take place. Was it a version of you that was an impoverished peasant in Africa fighting over food? Was it a hilariously gruesome act of negligence because construction worker you suddenly realised you didn't know how to handle a crane? Or was it just because you finally discovered what it was like to be on the receiving end of those cutting remarks you've been firing off at strangers on CSGO servers for years? Alexa, define murder. What if I'm a soldier shooting at an enemy soldier? I'm assuming acts of self-defense are allowed, but then I'm defending me from myself. Does that still count? Does killing myself even count as murder, or is it more like self-harm? Suicide? Assisted suicide? The debate could also gravitate towards, what do you mean if everybody in the world was me? Would it be your mind transported into the bodies and with their own knowledge stacked on top of yours? Or would it literally be you times 7 billion? All suddenly finding themselves in different places and being all like, who am I? How did I get here? If it's like that, then I think murder might be the least of my concerns, as Audi's baked bean supply is immediately ransacked, as power plants begin to shut and to melt down, and as YouTube is overloaded by billions of uploads, each receiving exactly one view. The algorithm would go wild. And what about the version of me that happened to be me? Would I assume everybody else is a clone of me, or that I just happen to be very lucky to find myself, of all places, exactly where I was before? Would these copies of me be the ages of the people they were replacing? Child Philip, old Philip, and so on. Would the female ones of me be female? If so, then would I be able to determine once and for all what the differences between the sexes were, all else being equal? Would some of me have different sexual preferences? And if not, then would many relationships suddenly break down? What if all the clones of me were, for some inexplicable reason, female? Would there suddenly be a huge demand for the original one? What if this bizarre event wasn't limited to humans, but I suddenly found myself transported into the bodies of every creature in the world? Would I still have the same ability to think, or would I be nerfed into something that no longer resembles myself anyway? Would I act for the greater good, or would I selfishly assume that whatever form I took was suddenly the most important to sustain? Mosquitoes? Seagulls? I think we'd all work together to save the whale and elephant Philips. And the cute looking ones. What if, instead of becoming creatures, they too became my human form? Would anthills suddenly explode in a violent shower of giblets? Would the act of thousands of bodies spawning into one another instantly detonate violent nuclear-style explosions across the globe? And then there's the discussion of time. How long would it be before there's a murder? It sounds incriminating, but I'm assuming that there will be one at some point. It's not like I think I'm capable of murder. I can't see a situation in my life where that could feasibly occur. But if there's 7 billion of me in every feasible situation humanity could find itself, I'd give it about 2 hours. If nothing else, this hypothetical situation makes me appreciate the current diversity of humanity. Please, comment with how you would respond to this question. Surprise me with a different view about it from that of my own. And I thank all those other people in the world that don't happen to be me. I thank those fishermen braving stormy seas for my sardines. I thank the call centre Philips, and the politician Philips, and the prison guard Philips, and the activist Philips, and the Philips who work at Philips, and so on. Me. It would be an endless 24-hour self-congratulating Philip Festathlon.